Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Weaver. Welcome to The Audio Analyst. During the third week in June, I was invited to attend a limited press event in Santa Fe, New Mexico. The event was sponsored by Monarch Systems, based in Englewood, Colorado, Siltech's U.S. distributor, to introduce and promote the launch of Siltech's new flagship line of cables, MasterCrown. I reported on that event here with episode 181, Siltech's MasterCrown cable, at the end of June. As the first journalist to have access to review a loom of these beautifully built, superb sounding, and exceptionally expensive cables, today I'm here to share with you just how they stack up. For convenience, all pricing is listed in today's description section. Before the introduction of MasterCrown, Siltech offered 5 tiers of cables. Their entry-level Explorer series, which uses bespoke ultra-high purity copper conductors, the classic Legend series with bespoke G9 silver gold conductors, the Ruby Crown series, their entry point to products using now the latest S10 monocrystal silver conductors, the Royal Crown series, which adds their newer hexagon construction geometry, and the previous Summit, the Royal Triple Crown series, featuring larger diameter conductors and employing what they call an air cradle construction geometry. Enter the new 10th generation silver metallurgy, one which Siltech says delivers a continuous single silver crystal, one which completely eliminates the gaps and micro cracks of the previous alloy's crystal structure. The result is a single crystal silver wire said to offer the lowest possible resistance and distortion presented by the conductor itself, reducing the damage that those flaws would otherwise cause to the audio signal passing through them. What are we talking about when we refer to single crystal wire? When examined using a microscope, one can readily see that a metal wire is a complex lattice or matrix constructed from individual atoms. A resultant strand of wire may clearly be seen to be an imperfect construct assembled from multiple large crystals all bonded together. The earlier S9 alloy was a proprietary silver-gold alloy, one that used gold plating of the silver to fill the tiny gaps that naturally occur in the silver crystal's structure, gaps which, if left unaddressed, contribute to micro-distortions of the signal it conveys. Although Siltech asserts that filling those microscopic cracks brings enormous sonic benefits, they emphasize that such a process cannot match the more seamless performance of a conductor where those voids and fractures are entirely eliminated. The construction geometry and fabrication techniques have been further augmented using advanced software like COMSOL Multiphysics, a simulation platform that provides fully coupled multiphysics and single physics modeling capabilities of the interactions between multiple aspects of a physical system to further optimize their capabilities, further maximizing Siltech's ongoing efforts to push the boundaries of high-performance audio cable technology. MasterCrown Interconnects, both single-ended and balanced, incorporate 4 of the solid S10 monocrystal silver conductors in their new balanced principal construction geometry, a method of assembly that they say also helps them address the reduction of magnetic field distortions related to the composition of the conducting materials and insulators. All contacts are fabricated with S10 monocrystal silver as well, and are gold-plated using a direct plasma plating process. Improvements to the clamping mechanisms used on the Interconnects connectors are said to help improve and reduce the influence of eddy currents, and all of these efforts contribute to a further lowering of their exceptionally low noise floor. Of special interest on MasterCoun Interconnects is the inclusion of a two-position switch, allowing the user to select from a true, fully balanced configuration with directional grounding, or the ability to float or lift the shield connection entirely, depending on your system's requirements. The MasterCoun loudspeaker cables use 6 of the ultra-thick S10 monocrystal silver conductors in their perfectly symmetrical hexagon construction, and feature plasma gold-plated S10 monocrystal silver spades. Here again, the use of their advanced software optimization allows them to augment their geometry in a way that provides higher rejection of both magnetic field and current shielding distortions. Siltech states that while these speaker cables will safely handle up to 10 kilowatts, they are also able to conduct and let you hear down to 8 femtowatts of sound. Recalling that femto is a prefix that represents a factor of 10 to the minus 15th, or 1/quadrillionth of a unit, in this case, a watt, you may begin to understand how this insanely broad power range is said to allow for the audibility of every possible minute detail. The MasterCoun AC cables are constructed as an 18-conductor configuration that uses a combination of both S10 monocrystal silver and G9 silver gold wires. They are terminated using pure silver contacts on the power connector, and they have adopted a special grounding configuration in an attempt to circumvent the need for ground lifting. For the most salient of comparisons in my reference system, after installing the 2.5 meter spade terminated speaker cables between my True Life Audio SSA 350 monoblocks and my Von Schweikert Audio Ultra 9 loudspeakers, I installed the 1 meter balanced interconnects between my Dynamic Associates Phono 3 phono stage and my True Life Audio SSP1 line stage, and the 2 meter AC power cord to power the DSA Phono 3 as well. And I did them in that order, allowing for considerable time to pass between each installation, on the order of days each, in the hopes that I would be able to identify each product's individual contribution to the resultant sound. Once the MasterCoun speaker cables were installed, from the moment I lit up the system, from that very first needle drop, there was such an apparent and considerable difference in the density, texture, bloom, and definition of the deep bass that I could hardly believe what I was hearing. Beyond the appreciably more authentic bass presentation, and I'm talking about from the deepest, most subterranean levels here, my VSA Ultra 9s will play down into the 15 Hz region, on up through the upper mid-bass, there was a clear and immediate awareness of a broadband enhancement of overall clarity and resolution, resulting in the rendering of more complexly dense tonalities, providing a more faithful delivery of the richness and vibrancy of tone color and more complete, intricate textural expression. Such an impressive degree of expressive sonic transformation was more than merely surprising and was much more significant than I would have believed possible by merely changing cables. The insertion of the balanced interconnects simply served to amplify all the notable positive sonic attributes I'd realized with the installation of the speaker cables. The result was, in essence, a furtherance of the same kinds of enhanced nuances and expanded improvements I had noted with the loudspeaker cables. More vivid tone color, and more faithful instrumental texture, especially with the veracity of the rendering of select stringed, horn, and percussion instruments. With the right recordings, I was presented with a more immediate and intimate expression of the space, air, and ambience around the musicians, their instruments, and the venue where the recording was made. The result was a further augmented degree of refinement to the individual expressiveness of instrumental character. This more finely honed level of expression was manifest as superior delineation of instrumental spatial corporality, textural complexity, and physical size and location. Everything from staging and imaging cues and expansiveness to instrumental size and shape to the more faithful regeneration of hall ambience and space, as well as the reconstruction of much more subtle attributes like those of shading and decay, were more starkly revealed, constituting a more candid and credible perception of the sonic event being reconstructed. And damned if the installation of the final piece of this master crown cable puzzle, the insertion of the 2-meter AC power cord to power my phono stage, didn't intensify those perceptible advances further, yet again moving the bar a notable step forward, further reinforcing that overall credibility that the sound I was now hearing was more closely related to that of a live performance rather than a recording. It was with this addition of that final measure of instrumental dimension, of their credible shape and size, and especially of the recreation of the air and space around them, and that of the recording venue itself, took its final notable upturn, revealing new measures of continuousness, expanse, and focus, merging to create a more honest and believable musical event than I have ever previously experienced from my reference music system. Its final degree of added fluency, coherence, naturalness, and enrichment of the recreated musical envelope simply reinforced my frustration with the knowledge that so many cable deniers overlook the significance of the contributions of an AC power cord. Saying this Loom's effect provided a clearer step closer to allowing for the suspension of disbelief, allowing me to hear further into the recorded event, its space, and its vibrance than I have ever previously experienced, while fair, would also be inadequately incomplete. This Loom took me closer to the convincing reality, especially with the best recordings, than I would have believed could be accomplished with only a substitution of cables. I want to make it clear that this edition has been an unexpected and remarkably pleasant experience, and if I'm honest, was a bit surprising as well. I have always felt, or more fairly believed, that all else being equal, when creating an audio cable employing lower mass, minimal termination techniques, and less complex plating schemes and interfacing, would deliver the most exceptional results. These cables, which seem to rail against many of those parameters, offer the most remarkable and authentic musical experience I've yet been treated to. Their ability to offer an expanded degree of resolution and articulation, to be able to deliver more of every little nuance and subtlety in a manner that is unprecedented in my previous experience, is indisputable. Every listener who visited my music room during their audition, with no prompting whatsoever, completely uninformed about what had been changed, all commented on the substantive improvements that they noted in the system's newfound effortlessness and enhanced ability to generate a more convincing musical reality. This Siltech Master Crown Loom contributes a considerable degree of refinement to individual expressiveness, instrumental character, and delineation. The resultant articulation of all their attributes, from their stark neutrality and exceptional naturalness to the elevated levels of immediacy and involvement that they are able to much more convincingly express, are both utterly intoxicating and exceedingly difficult to relinquish once I had to remove them and revert to my reference cable loom. While I am clearly a proponent of hyper audio level products, I have no intention of defending the pricing of these products. They are absurdly expensive. But by the same token, value must be seen as the subjective quality that it is. Given this Loom offers such a considerably more authentic musical experience, one that really challenged me to describe it precisely, its significance in the nuances and genuineness that it affords must be seen to be just as substantial. Could one leverage a similar degree of improvement or even more with different purchases, such as more effective, not necessarily more, room treatment, more refined electronics, loudspeakers, or isolation methods? I cannot say with any certainty. What I am prepared to say, after my experience with this absurdly expensive Loom of Siltech Master Crown audio cables, is that they appear to impose less destruction, harm, or degradation to the delicate and sensitive musical signal it conveys, and by some considerable degree, than any other Loom of cables in my experience. Their performance clearly confirms my long-standing first audio axiom: cables are components. With that said, they represent the paragon of connectology available today. Bravo, Siltech. As always, thank you for taking the time to drop by today. Further information on supporting the channel may be found in today's description section or at my website, theaudioanalyst.com. Please stay safe and keep the music playing. Till next time, cheers.